Chapter 1601. The President of the Wind-Chasing Alliance 1. The next day. It wasn't until sunlight streamed into the room that the two people on the bed sleeping in an embrace opened their eyes. Luo Feng moved her aching shoulders and glared at Yun Xiao. Next time, if you torment me like this again, then go sleep on the floor. I will be gentler next time. Yun Xiao pulled Luo Feng back into his arms, a faint smile spreading on his face. It's late. We should make our preparations to leave this place. Luo Feng stretched her legs and sat up from the bed. Squeak. The room door was pushed open. A young girl entered and respectfully said, "Master, Mistress, Sir Feng Yu ordered this servant to serve you." This girl was evidently a member of the Phoenix tribe, and the aforementioned Sir Feng Yu was the leader of that group of phoenixes. Yun Xiao frowned. "Leave. I don't need anyone to serve us." "Master, Sir Feng Yu had this servant come here to dress mistress." The girl kept her head lowered, not daring to look up at Yun Xiao. The man's aura was too powerful, so much so that it caused her to tremble in fear. Sir Feng Yu already said Master was difficult to serve, but she did not expect it to be difficult to this extent. "Not permitted." Yun Xiao coldly glanced at the girl, expressionless. "I will suffice." The girl was startled. She did not dare to believe the man in front of her was the master of their Phoenix tribe. Would he personally serve mistress? For humans, men were superior and women were inferior. Even the Phoenix tribe who respected the powerful did not have men who were willing to attend to their woman. Master was truly different from normal humans. "As you ordered." The girl cupped her fists and retreated from the room. Yun Xiao's sharp brows were knit closely together, and a cold and solemn air emanated from his handsome face. "It looks like I need to teach the Phoenix tribe some rules." They intruded in the room without announcing themselves. "Yun Xiao, the sun is high in the sky already, shouldn't we rise?" After being tormented the whole night by Yun Xiao, the sun was high in the sky. "All right," Yun Xiao smiled, a rare gentle tone in his rough voice. He casually pulled some clothes from the floor. "Let me dress you." Everyone from the alliance was already gathered inside a hall. It was a long while before they saw the late Luo Feng and Yun Xiao. "Sister Yun." Xiao Yan happily ran to Luo Feng's side. "Brother Yun, and you are truly awesome. From now on, you are the savior of our wind-chasing alliance." Luo Feng faintly smiled. Suddenly, she caught sight of a chilly glance from the crowd. When she looked over, the gaze was already withdrawn, and the person had donned an apologetic smile. This man was evidently the person who earlier claimed that Luo Feng was the one who attracted the spirit beasts here. She originally thought it was merely a misunderstanding, but it appeared that this man was not simple. "I need to leave this place temporarily. If Huang Yingying and Hu Li return, let them wait for us here at the Wind-Chasing Alliance." Luo Feng paused. "Also, have you seen a woman named Hong Luan?" Hong Luan? In an instant, everyone blankly looked at each other with astonishment in their eyes. "Fenger," Yun Xiao glanced at them before turning his gaze at Luo Feng. "I had Feng Yu interrogate those beasts yesterday. None of them have seen Hong Luan. More than that, they have never heard of this name. If Hong Luan came to Beast Province, she shouldn't disappear without a trace. So why hadn't these people seen her?" Chapter 1602. The President of the Wind-Chasing Alliance 2. "Miss Yun," Song Mu spoke up. "The beast tribes that came here include a majority of the tribes in Beast Province, including the Phoenix tribe. If you still can't find who you are looking for, then I suggest that you go to Dragon Mountain." Dragon Mountain? That's right. One of the strongest tribes of Beast Province, the Dragon tribe, inhabits Dragon Mountain. Luo Feng pondered over it. Some time later, she looked up and narrowed her eyes. "Since it's like that, then we will visit the Dragon tribe." "Mistress." Feng Yu heard Luo Feng's words just as he entered. He hurriedly offered, "Do you need the help of our Phoenix tribe?" The Phoenix tribe and the Dragon tribe were the two strongest factions in Beast Province. Hence, if the Phoenix tribe interfered, then they would find Hong Luan faster. However, send someone to search for Hong Luan's whereabouts first. Yun Xiao and I will personally visit the Dragon tribe. Ignoring whether the Dragon tribe had truly kidnapped Hong Luan, if Hong Luan was in the hands of the Dragon tribe and they forced them, then it might push Hong Luan into danger. Personally paying them a visit was their only option. Moreover, I don't want other people to know I'm looking for Hong Luan, nor do I want them to know of my relationship with the Phoenix tribe. This is the only way to guarantee Hong Luan's safety. Young Luo Feng resolutely uttered, seriously looking at the red-haired man. Yes, mistress. Feng Yu reverently cupped his fists and immediately ordered people to seal the information. A lot of spirit beasts came here, and it would not be easy to seal their lips, but even so, no one dared to disobey when faced with the looming threat of the Phoenix tribe. The vice president is back. At this time, an astonished voice came from the door. The previously sitting crowd instantly shot up with excitement in their eyes. The vice president is back. He was truly back. When a man in brocade robes entered the estate hidden by trees, he froze. He caught sight of several phoenixes spiraling in the air, and underneath the phoenixes, the leaders of several beast race tribes were kneeling on the ground with their hands behind their head, not daring to move the slightest. He was stupefied and scratched his head, completely clueless. What is this situation? Vice President. Suddenly, familiar figures darted out of the house and arrived in front of him. Vice President, you've finally returned. The man referred to as Vice President dumbfoundedly watched his excited companions and scratched the back of his head as he asked, "Who can tell me what is going on? Why are there so many spirit beasts here? And there are phoenixes as well. But those phoenixes didn't destroy you." Vice President, we met a savior this time. The wind-chasing alliance was originally going to suffer a crushing defeat, but who would have expected two saviors to appear? Even the Phoenix tribe as their subordinates. They saved us, and we no longer have to worry about being hunted down by spirit beasts. These people were excited and vividly described the awe-inspiring sight from yesterday, their faces full of worship and reverence. The man blinked and looked up. When he saw the girl in white who walked out, his mind went blank. Young Luo Feng also halted and intently stared at the brocade-robed man in front of her, a wicked smile rising on her lips. Chapter 1603. The President of the Wind-Chasing Alliance 3. When Xiao Yan said the alliance was called Wind-Chasing Alliance and the vice president's surname was Nangong, I had some suspicions. She briefly paused. I didn't expect it to really be you. Nangong, long time no see, how are you doing? Wind-Chasing Alliance, Feng-Chasing Alliance 1, why did she only confirm this now? Nangong Yunyi loudly laughed and swiftly walked toward Yun Luo Feng, wanting to hook his arm around her neck as usual. Before his arm could touch Yun Luo Feng though, a strong and powerful hand stopped him. Yun Luo Feng, won't you introduce me? Nangong Yunyi asked, awkwardly retracting his hand and touching his nose. Yun Luo Feng smiled, my man, Yun Xiao. Tut-tut, I pursued you for so many years back then, but I didn't succeed. I didn't expect there to actually be a man who could conquer you, Nangong Yunyi commented, not noticing Yun Xiao's darkened face at all. You pursued me, how come I didn't know? Yun Luo Feng raised her eyebrows, mirth on her face. She met Nangong Yunyi back in Hua Xia University, and he fearlessly confessed to her and even expressed an intent to badger her, so he was beaten up by Yun Luo Feng and unable to leave his bed for several months. But this exchange of blows led them to become close friends. In truth, Nangong Yunyi was merely stunned by Yun Luo Feng at the beginning and did not sincerely like her. After all, every man who saw an outstanding and beautiful woman would be involuntarily attracted to her. Later on, he knew there was no possibility of anything between Yun Luo Feng and him, so he obliterated all of his other intentions and also fell in love with the department beauty of Hua Xia University. Upon arriving in this strange world and encountering Ouya, who held a resemblance to the department beauty, his intentions reignited. If Yun Luo Feng did not help him wake up, perhaps he would not have his current accomplishments. No matter what, Yun Luo Feng was the most important woman in his life. This was unrelated to romantic love. It was simply because the other person was a close friend who he wanted to use his whole life to protect. Yun Luo Feng, an eminent person like you has a short memory indeed. Back then, I did nothing more than confess to you but ended up unable to leave the bed because you beat me up. Yet, you have forgotten already. Nangong Yunyi's gaze was resentful as he looked at Yun Luo Feng like he was a bitter wife. Yun Xiao's face turned darker. He forcefully tugged Yun Luo Feng into his embrace and pointedly declared, you aren't strong enough. She likes strong people. Tut-tut, Nangong Yunyi wryly commented, Yun Luo Feng, your man is truly a pot of vinegar too. Yun Xiao was expressionless. The only one who can make me drink vinegar 3 in this world is her. AKA, no matter what you said, I won't be jealous. I only trust her. Vice President, you know each other? Song Mu dazedly asked. He and the others were stupefied. Nangong Yunyi smiled. That's right, she is the president that I mentioned to you. Boom. It was as if they were struck by lightning. Yun Luofeng was their president. Heavens, were they dreaming? If Yun Luofeng was the president, then didn't it mean the wind-chasing alliance could be treated the same as the Phoenix tribe? Everyone's face reddened with excitement as their eyes shot to Yun Luofeng. Yun Luofeng was taken back. I didn't agree to be the president. Yun Luofeng, with our relationship, there's no difference in whether it's you or me who's the president. Moreover, to begin with, the wind-chasing alliance was established on your behalf. You won't reject me so cruelly, right? Nangong Yunyi aggrievedly looked at Yun Luofeng, appearing to have the inclination of forcing her to accept the wind-chasing alliance. Chapter 1604, The President of the Wind-Chasing Alliance 4. Fine, I will accept it. Yun Luofeng shrugged. Also, how did you come to Beast Province and establish the wind-chasing alliance? It's a long story. After you left back then, I randomly received an opportunity that caused a life-changing transformation to my strength. Coincidentally, the space wormhole opened and I arrived at Beast Province. Unfortunately, this place is too complicated, so I was never able to leave. Nangong Yunyi sighed as he reminisced about past events. Right, Vice President, didn't you go out this time to look for someone? How was it? Did you find that person? Song Mu asked. I didn't find her. I don't know where she went. Nangong Yunyi was helpless. Vice President, tell us the name of the miss you are looking for. Perhaps we can help you. Suddenly, every member of the alliance turned to look at Nangong Yunyi. Yun Luofeng smirked. Nangong, during your time in Beast Province, it appears you obtained more than just the wind-chasing alliance. This embarrassment crept onto Nangong Yunyi's face. I still don't know her name. It's just that I accidentally peeped on her showering and was hunted by her for some time. It turns out you have masochistic tendencies that I didn't realize in the past. Yun Luofeng stroked her chin lightly, the smile on her face deepening. However, you can describe the appearance of the girl. I will have the Phoenix tribe help you look for her. Red clothes. Nangong Yunyi looked up at Yun Luofeng and seriously replied. She wears red clothes. She is very beautiful and seductive, her hair is very long, like a waterfall. Yun Luofeng's face darkened. Red clothes. Beautiful. Very long hair. Wasn't this the same as not saying anything? Nangong Yunyi was immersed in his memories. However, she is easily irritable and has quite the temper. When she was hunting me down, I accidentally touched her butt, and she nearly chopped me into mincemeat due to rage. Thankfully, I ran away fast enough. Otherwise, you wouldn't see me again. Song Mu and the other people were stupefied. He touched someone's butt. It was extremely benevolent that the mist didn't immediately kill you. What else? Yun Luofeng inquired further. Nothing else. I only remember this. Nangong Yunyi shook his head and pleadingly looked at Yun Luofeng. Yun Luofeng, considering how many years we have been brothers, help me out. Yun Luofeng supported her forehead with her hand and turned to Yun Xiao, full of indecision. What do you think? Yun Xiao coldly glanced at Feng Yu, causing him to nearly kneel on the ground from fright. Feng Yu wanted to cry as he responded. Master, Mistress, we will use everything we can to find her. We will absolutely find his woman for Mistress's brother. Nangong Yunyi hastily corrected. Don't call her my woman. If that lunatic hears, she will certainly kill me. If you are so afraid of her, why do you want to find her? Yun Luofeng mirthfully asked with a wry smile. Nangong Yunyi's face twitched, brimming with embarrassment. That crazy woman hunted me down for so long but suddenly stopped hunting me, so I'm not quite used to it. In truth, according to that woman's personality, she would not spare him, so Nangong Yunyi suspected she was in danger and left the alliance to search for her. Chapter 1605, The Expert of the Dragon Tribe 1. Nangong, we are both looking for someone, why don't we journey together this time? Sounds good. Nangong Yunyi chuckled. Also, that crazy woman still wants to hunt me down. With you by my side, you can protect my safety. Unfortunately, he spoke too soon. It was not until he found the woman that he understood that young Luo Feng would not help him at all. Beast City. Inside a serene and hidden courtyard, there was a girl dressed in a long, pale yellow dress, fleeting like an immortal and unimaginably beautiful. Her firm skin was fair like the finest powder, its perfection eliciting envy in people. The eldest princess had nearly grounded her teeth into powder from hatred, and her nails sunk into her skin from how tight she clenched her fists. Her envious gaze unwaveringly glared at the fair-skinned girl. Inside Beast City, she was the most perfect being. Who would have expected her disfigured younger sister would recover her appearance one day? How could she not hate it? Yua suddenly discovered the hidden eldest princess. Her eyes gently cast down, her long eyelashes leaving a shadow on her eyelid, evoking tenderness in people. Her expression was aloof and proud, similar to a blooming chrysanthemum, permeating the air with its delicate fragrance. Big sister, did you need something? Having been discovered, the eldest princess stood up with a harumph and disdainfully watched Yila. Sister, I'm here to tell you something. You must have heard the recent news of the continent. Many beast tribes went to capture Hu Li and the others. Your prince consort was torn into pieces by the beast tribes long ago. Yila snorted. If Hu Li truly died, you wouldn't look so displeased. I am guessing those beast people did not succeed, am I right? Haha. The eldest princess madly chuckled, her smile brimming with rage and murderous intent. She originally thought that young Luo Feng and her group would die without a doubt this time, but those beasts unexpected failed. That's right, the beast tribes failed indeed. However, I also received another piece of news, the eldest princess sneered. My sister, perhaps you don't know the relationship between your prince consort and the human woman, Huang Yingying. I can tell you right now though. The eldest princess took a deep breath before coldly stating, they are secretly entangled already, and Hu Li only became your prince consort to use you. Hence, you are the true person to be pitied. Yua's heart tightened, and her hands beside her involuntarily clenched. You think I will believe you? The eldest princess derisively chuckled. If Hu Li had you in his heart, why didn't he leave together with you and abandoned you here instead? That was because he already had a wife, and he was only with you to use you. Humans have always been malevolent, yet you trusted them without a doubt. Yua's breathing sped up, and her face turned pale. She harshly bit her lips, not uttering a word. Hu Li already had a wife. No, impossible, he never mentioned he had a wife. Seeing the effect of her words, mockery entered the eldest princess's eyes. She slowly turned around and walked out of the courtyard. It was not until the eldest princess was far away that Yila stumbled and nearly fell onto the ground. She bitterly chuckled in her mind and said with self-ridicule, Hu Li took advantage me from the start, but I also willingly allowed him to use me to keep him with me. Since it's like that, how could I have any wishful expectations? Chapter 1606, The Expert of the Dragon Tribe 2. She knew this would be the result from the start, didn't she? Then why did she still hope that it would turn out differently? Did she expect that man to come looking for her? Yua slowly stood up from the ground. Her eyes were downcast and her fists tightly clenched. Suddenly, she appeared to have come to a decision and looked up. Since the day I met Hu Li, I feebly wanted to be his wife. But as long as I can remain beside him, I won't have any resentment or regrets regardless of my status. Unless, Yua's gaze was fraught with determination. Unless he no longer needs me. After saying this, Yua made her way out of the courtyard. When she reached the doorway, several experts of the leopard tribe blocked her path. Princess, King has yet to gain consciousness. You aren't allowed to leave the leopard clan. Move. Yua's expression became cold. I need to go find Hu Li. Princess, you can't be impulsive. The leopard clan needs your leadership. Wait until King wakes up at least. Scram, Yua sternly shouted. At the same time, a powerful force slammed into these experts, causing them to take a few steps back. Then, Yua stepped through the doorway under the guards' pleading and desperate gaze. That's right, if a spirit beast wanted to remain by a human's side forever, there was only one method. They needed to establish a contract that reached deep into the spirit. Even if the human's life ended, as long as he had a chance to reincarnate, then she could wait for him. Lifetime after lifetime without any resentment or regret. Inside a luxurious and refined room, the eldest princess laid on a chaise lounge and listened to her subordinate's report, her eyes brightening. Yila, that fool, truly left the leopard tribe. Her heart began to stir. Yila's talent surpassed hers, and her appearance recovered its beauty, so the elders of the tribe preferred her. Fortunately, the fool willingly left the leopard tribe for a man. Wasn't this the same as giving her an opportunity? Yila has always been unambitious. If I was her and I had a man I liked, I would keep him by my side regardless of what it took. Only a fool like her would allow her beloved man to leave as he wished, the eldest princess sneered, evidently disdainful of Yila's behavior. Moreover, it appeared Yila planned to follow Hu Li without any promises. She was a princess of the leopard clan. There was an abundance of men in the world, so why must she love only one man? Roar! The call of a dragon was suddenly heard from the sky, causing the eldest princess to fall off the chaise lounge from fright and frantically crawl out the door. In the azure sky, an enormous dragon was circling above them. His gigantic body covered the sky and concealed the clouds and the sun from view, darkening the whole court. Sir Dragon! The eldest princess looked up at the giant dragon with astonishment, and pleasant surprise flashed through her eyes. She did not expect a member of the dragon tribe to arrive so quickly. You are the one who sent information to our dragon tribe. The dragon derisively looked at the eldest princess. His voice was low and rough, emanating a formidable power that directly slammed into people's hearts. Yes, the eldest princess did not deny it. Unfortunately, that woman is no longer in Beast City. She joined the Wind Chasing Alliance and allied with the Wind Chasing Alliance, declaring a war with the beast tribes. Wind Chasing Alliance? The dragon scoffed. A resistance formed by a group of lowly humans. If our dragon tribe wasn't fairly busy recently, the Wind Chasing Alliance would have already been extinct. Since this woman went to the Wind Chasing Alliance, then there's no need for this alliance to exist. Chapter 1607. The Expert of the Dragon Tribe 3. A smile slowly turned up on the eldest princess's face, but it instantly receded. A glint of satisfaction remained in her eyes. However, the dragon haughtily looked down on the eldest princess. I leave my mark on every place I visit, so. Boom. A loud sound suddenly shocked the air. The dragon in the sky released a puff of dragon's breath, demolishing the entire court in an instant. Some weaker folks were directly reduced to ashes from the dragon's breath. The eldest princess was stupefied. Her complexion was ghastly white as she shivered. It was only now that she understood what havoc she had unleashed. The dragon did not give the eldest princess another look and disappeared into the air, revealing the azure sky. The dragon might have a giant body, but it was incredibly agile, akin to a small snake, and its size did not cause any burden on him. The eldest princess harshly swallowed. Regret sprouted in her heart. Was she correct in pulling the dragon tribe into this matter? At this time, a voice came from the doorway. Did that dragon just now leave from the palace of the leopard tribe? The eldest princess was not very familiar with this voice, but it wasn't entirely unknown to her either. She looked up at the two people entering the court. It was a man and a girl. The man looked like an incubus with seductive upturned eyes. He was also like a cunning fox, making him dangerous to interact with. A girl stood next to the man in white clothes. She was nimble like a black-naped oriole that rested on a tree, melodious and compelling. However, her features were icy and expressionless. Hu Li, the eldest princess spat out between gritted teeth after seeing the fox man. Hu Li raised her eyebrows. I came to find Yila. I plan to take her with me and leave. Hearing this, a glint flashed through the eldest princess's eyes, and she said with a snort, You came to find Yila. Humph, you caused Yila's death, but you dare to come and find her. Caused Yila's death? Hu Li's face darkened. What do you mean? Explain yourself. An intense hatred permeated the eldest princess's eyes. Your friends offended the dragon tribe somewhere, so people from the dragon tribe came looking for trouble. In the end, the dragon tribe did not find your friends and learned about the relationship between Yila and you instead, so they killed her in a fit of anger. Boom. The eldest princess's words were like a thunderclap in the clear sky, causing Hu Li's mind to explode and turn blank. What did you say? Yila was dead. Impossible. The eldest princess must be deceiving him. If you don't believe it, you can ask other members of the leopard tribe, the eldest princess coldly stated, some emotion flashing through her features. The hearts of the leopard tribe's members skipped a beat. They exchanged a look with each other before turning to Hu Li. Eldest princess spoke correctly. Little princess has already passed away. A guard of the leopard tribe nearly sobbed with grief plaguing his features, and his eyes radiated pain. A sorrowful atmosphere suffocated the entire leopard tribe. Hu Li staggered back a few steps, his face pale. He harshly knocked on his head and his seductive face carried an intense pain. If I had brought her with me when I left, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. Yila died. The girl who had a radiant smile even though her face was disfigured truly died. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, Princess Yila wouldn't have left us. An expert of the leopard clan furiously cried. You should pay for Princess's death with your life. Chapter 1608. The expert of the dragon tribe 4. He said she left, not died. However, to other people's ears, what was the difference between leaving and dying? I caused Yila's death. Besides pain, Hu Li's eyes also contained doubt as he looked at the people before him in bewilderment. Where's Yila's corpse? I want to take her with me. Corpse? Yila didn't die, so what corpse? The eldest princess snorted. Yila was reduced into ashes by the dragon's breath, so what corpse? If you truly feel guilty, then you should go to the dragon tribe and avenge Yila. Slandering the dragon tribe, what a joke. In any case, she absolutely would not admit she said these things in the future. The experts of the dragon tribe also would not believe Hu Li. As for the members of the leopard clan, all of them did not wish for Yila to be bound with a human, so they helped her lie. Since they all took part in this matter, how could they betray her? Moreover, she was a princess of the leopard tribe. There was no way they had the guts to say it. Wait. Seeing the change in Hu Li's emotions, Huang Yingying hurriedly pulled him back and immediately looked down to check the disarrayed courtyard. She contemplated for a moment before saying, this truly is the aftermath of a dragon's breath. The eldest princess snorted. Why would I lie? Huang Yingying looked up at the eldest princess. As for whether Princess Yila truly died in the hands of the dragon tribe, it requires further investigation. How about you come with us when we seek out the dragon tribe for revenge? The eldest princess's expression dramatically changed. What are you implying? An excessive amount of fury and sorrow would cause some people to believe things without a doubt. Yila was like this, and Hu Li was also like this. In contrast, as an observer, Huang Yingying was incredibly cool-headed. You said the dragon tribe killed Yila. We should at least find a witness, shouldn't we? So we will have to trouble you to come with us. Huang Yingying coldly smiled. The things she had experienced over the years had caused her to shed her previous naivety. More than that, she understood that a naive woman could not follow young Luo Feng for a long time. Stop. The eldest princess backed up a few steps from fright, but Huang Yingying grabbed a hold of her. Seeing this, the guards of the leopard clan darted forward, wanting to save the eldest princess. Huang Yingying icily swept her eyes over everyone, slowly unearthing her aura. If anyone takes a step forward, I will kill her. As expected, the guards did not dare to move the slightest. Of course, after we verify that Yila was killed by the dragon tribe, we will release her. Huang Yingying looked away. Let's go. She grasped the eldest princess's lapels and dragged her out of the door. Elder, what should we do now? A guard asked, voice full of panic and face brimming with worry. What can we do? The elder of the leopard clan looked very displeased. Since we helped eldest princess lie, it means we are in the same boat now. Also, it appears that eldest princess is very familiar with those experts of the dragon tribe. The dragon tribe will believe her, so we don't have to worry too much. However, King is still unconscious, little princess ran away, and eldest princess was taken. What will our leopard clan do? Wind Chasing Alliance. Inside a pub, the people were drinking and chatting merrily. I didn't expect the battle between humans and spirit beasts would be over so fast. We don't have to constantly hide anymore, haha. Yeah, it's been so long since I drank alcohol with delight. During these years, the alliance was hiding left and right. What inclination did I have to drink? Today, I will certainly drink to my heart's content. Chapter 1609. the expert of the Dragon Tribe 5. Watching these brothers who had gone through fire and water with him, Song Emu's lips could not help but turn up. Indeed, although they joined the alliance, in order to avoid discovery by the spirit beasts they had been living life in hiding these past few years, it was only now that they could drink without inhibition like this. This was not something they dared to even think about in the past. They feared enemies attacking when they were drunk and they did not have the power to resist. Boom. Suddenly, the ground shook, startling people and causing alcohol to splash out of their cups and splatter onto the ground. What is happening? Everyone turned pale with fright. Logically, all the leaders of the beast race had been controlled by the Phoenix tribe, so who would come so daringly to cause trouble? Let's go, we will take a look. Song Emu's features darkened as he slowly exited the pub. However, when they all walked out and saw the gigantic dragon in the sky, they nearly collapsed with terror. Dragon, heavens, how did we forget about the Dragon Tribe? The Dragon Tribe is on equal footing with the Phoenix Tribe in Beast Province, so they don't have to fear the Phoenix Tribe. The young man who spoke was deathly pale from fright. His legs were trembling, nearly falling over. However, he forced himself to stand upright and not fall in front of a dragon. Song Mu inquired with a frown, "This expert from the Dragon Tribe, why did you come to our wind-chasing alliance?" The dragon snorted, and his tone was haughty and derisive. "You aren't worthy of asking me anything." His extremely arrogant voice caused the staunch men of the wind-chasing alliance to be incredibly furious. "Sir Song Mu, let's not waste words with this dragon. We should just fight." Anyone could tell the visitor had ill intentions. Who cared about the difference between their strength at a time like this? They would rather die standing than live kneeling. "You overestimate your abilities," the dragon snorted. The snort appeared unconcerned and normal to other people. Nothing should happen. Yet. Splat. A mouthful of blood sprayed from the man who spoke in anger. He wavered a few times before falling face down on the ground. "Chingalan," Song Mu shouted and hurriedly took the man's into his arms, his fingers frantically laid over his pulse. "His heart is shattered, and his life is beyond help." Song Emu's eyes were red as he slowly stood up from the ground. His voice trembled. "What did we humans do wrong? Why must the spirit beasts kill us to the last one?" The dragon's deep voice carried a trace of contempt when faced with Song Emu's angry inquiries. "This is Beast Province, the spirit beast's domain. In the other provinces, don't you humans treat spirit beasts the same way? Any strong spirit beast will be fought over or slaughtered. Moreover, didn't you enter the Beast Province to contract a strong spirit beast?" Song Mu was rendered speechless. Indeed, humans wanted to possess any strong spirit beast that they saw. Spirit beasts were the same way. They desired to acquire any good-looking human that they saw. And if they didn't obey, then they could only be beaten until they did obey. In this world, the strong lord it over the weak. There's no difference between spirit beasts and humans. The stronger side has the right to enslave the weaker side. White mist came from the dragon's mouth as he domineeringly looked down on the group of insignificant humans under him, as though they were nothing more than ants. "Now, you only need to hand over young Luo Feng, and I can allow the wind-chasing alliance to retain a few survivors." Chapter 1610. The Expert of the Dragon Tribe 6. Song Mu snorted. "The president isn't here at the alliance. Even if she was, we wouldn't hand her over." "HMPH. The dragon snorted. "You forced my hand. Since you want to die, then I will grant your wish." Roar. The dragon's angry roar reverberated in the sky and a puff of dragon's breath sliced through the air, aimed directly at the humans on the ground. "Careful." Xiao Qi grabbed Xiao Yan and protected him under her body. Xiao Yan froze. He could feel a warm liquid slowly dripping down onto his face, moistened with a scent of copper. He slowly looked up. His heart jolted, and tears wanted to escape his eyes. Auntie Xiao Qi. The woman was bleeding from all of the orifices on her face, the fresh blood provoking his nerves and causing his body to stretch taut. "Leave here and tell the president to not go to Dragon Tribe." "She mustn't go to the Dragon Tribe." Bang. Xiao Qi punched Xiao Yan's chest, and he instantly flew back. He frantically stretched his hand out to grasp Xiao Qi, but he could do nothing but watch as his companions grew farther and farther away. The dragon disdainfully glanced at Xiao Yan, but he didn't chase after him. He snorted, his face devoid of any emotion. Merely a half-beast boy. He doesn't elicit my desire to kill him. It's good to let him leave. That way, someone will inform young Luo Feng about this. The moment she sent Xiao Yan away, Xiao Qi could not support herself anymore and fell over with a bang. Blood gushed out of her body, dyeing the ground around her red. Xiao 11. Song Mu's eyes spat out furious fire filled with hatred. He turned to the dragon in the air. Today, even if we die here, we will die without regrets. President and the others will certainly avenge us. Avenge you, the dragon haughtily stated. A group of insignificant humans delusionally wants to seek revenge from our dragon tribe. The Phoenix tribe is the subordinate of our president. Don't you think president has the ability to avenge us? Song Mu tightly clenched his fists. Ha ha, the dragon madly laughed. No wonder you dare to disregard the dragon tribe. It turns out you have the backing of the Phoenix tribe. You think those little birds can provoke the dragon tribe? If the Phoenix tribe has the nerve to come, then I will shoot each one that comes and shoot each pair that comes. Although the dragon tribe and Phoenix tribe both stood at the peak of Beast Province, how could two factions that both claimed to be number one admit that the other party's strength was the same as theirs? The dragon tribe looked down on the Phoenix tribe, but the Phoenix tribe also looked down on the dragon tribe. Sir Song Mu, let's risk it all against this dragon. If we unfortunately die here, then we will continue to be brothers in hell. That's right, people die eventually anyways. What's the difference between dying early and dying later? We can even scout the road for president and vice president in hell, ha ha ha. Perhaps due to excessive fear, brash things suddenly started to spill out of these people's mouths in order to mask the trembling of their hearts. Fuck it, I am done with living in hiding. I will go first, just follow me. A man cursed before swiftly charging toward the dragon, madness ruling his eyes. Stop, Song Mu anxiously shouted. It was too late though. The man reached the front of the dragon and was instantly swallowed by a puff of dragon's breath. Song Mu's eyes constricted. His hand was still stretched out as he saw another companion disappear before his eyes. Chapter 1611. Dragon Tribe 1. Fuck it, let's go at him with everything we have. The man's companions could not hold back the rage and fear in their hearts anymore. We can't allow our deceased brothers to have died for nothing. That's right, even if we can't kill this dragon, we must strip him of his scales as a sacrifice for our brother's spirits. Everyone charged toward the dragon without any inhibitions. All except for the man who once slandered young Luo Feng. He took advantage of the people's inattention to secretly sneak away. Currently, everyone's eyes were focused on the dragon, so they did not notice his escape. Blood dyed the earth red. Like courageous warriors, every member of the wind-chasing alliance did not back down despite their fear in the face of death. They had enough of living in hiding and would rather take a risk with everything they had. Even if they died, they wanted to enter the underworld together and carve out a new path. The dragon tribe was situated inside a towering mountain range with dangerous terrain. An intense sense of danger emanated from a valley. Who has the guts to trespass into the dragon tribe? An oppressive voice rumbled from the eerie valley. Soon after, an enormous body dashed up and obscured the entire sky with its body. He is the mountain's guardian deity dragon from the dragon tribe. Nangong Yunyi narrowed his eyes. He is at low-rank sage lord level. Hearing Nangong Yunyi's voice, the dragon in the air looked down at him, his gaze containing pride and disdain. His oppressive voice was akin to a heavy hammer that mercilessly pounded on people's hearts. Human, why did a group of insignificant humans come here? We came to find someone. Young Luo Feng looked up at the dragon. Our dragon tribe doesn't have who you are looking for, so immediately leave here. Otherwise, I won't allow you to leave Dragon Mountain. The dragon's voice was derisive, clearly disregarding young Luo Feng. In his view, it was already good enough if he leniently allowed her to leave. If she was foolhardy, then don't blame him for being impolite. Oh, young Luo Feng smiled with raised brows. Then I would like to see how you won't allow me to leave Dragon Mountain. Humph. A white mist puffed out of the dragon's nostrils. His eyes dripped with arrogance as he peered up. I can fulfill your wish. Roar. A loud roar thundered to the horizon. The dragon's mouth gradually grew bigger, containing a formidable power inside. Instantly, a huff of dragon's breath shot out, similar to the sun rapidly descending from the sky, and turned the whole sky hazy. Bang! The dragon's breath slammed into the ground with Yun Luo Feng at its center. For 100 meters around her, everything turned into ruins. The dragon smiled with satisfaction. Those 3 humans had no possibility of surviving under his dragon's breath. However, the subsequent scene caused the dragon's pupils to contract and his expression to drastically change. The dust cleared, revealing a man with his arm extending forward and his clothes fluttering in the air without any wind. He was icy like a killing god, and a formidable aura surrounded him, causing a cyclone to be generated in his surroundings. His huff of dragon's breath was single-handedly blocked by this man. Impossible. Since when were humans strong to this extent? Affected by the man's cyclone, the girl's white clothes danced in the wind, and her hair gently brushed across her face. Her beauty caused people to forget to breathe. Swish. While the dragon was embroiled in shock, the girl on the ground had already disappeared without a trace. Chapter 16:12. Dragon Tribe 2. When he regained his senses, he abruptly discovered that Yun Luo Feng was standing in front of him. The girl's features were mirthful and wicked, and her lips were slightly turned up. For some reason though, her smile made people's hair stand on end. He had been the guardian dragon deity of this mountain for many years, but this was the first time he felt scared of a human. Is the dragon tribe very powerful? The girl jovially asked. The dragon's voice did not have its previous power, but he was unwilling to display any weakness. That's right, our dragon tribe has always been very powerful. Is that so? Yun Luo Feng bewitchingly smiled. Then I would like to know who's more powerful, your dragon tribe or the water dragon in my possession. What? The dragon's eyes widened with surprise. A dragon pleaded allegiance to a human. However, before the dragon could recover, Yun Luo Feng suddenly waved her hand, and a transparent figure slowly appeared in front of her. It was a sky-blue dragon. His eyes were domineering and severe with a hint of cruelty, as though the deity dragon before him was merely his food. Roar! The cry of the water dragon reverberated in the sky, shaking the mountain range. This water dragon is merely a spirit, but why is he so powerful? Panic flickered through the deity dragon's eyes. Although he could feel that the water dragon was only at Sage Lord level, for unknown reasons, he gave him a powerful pressure. It could be imagined how powerful the water dragon was when he was alive. The 2 dragons faced each other in the air. The deity dragon could not repress the fear in his heart and turned around, wanting to escape. However, an angry roar came from behind him, causing him to shudder in fright and nearly fall down. Suppression had an extremely intense effect on spirit beasts. The water dragon was very powerful when he was alive, so even though only his spirit remained, it could still provoke fear in other dragons' hearts. Especially because the mountain guardian deity dragon was merely low-rank Sage Lord level. Bang! When the deity dragon turned around to escape, he accidentally stumbled into a figure. He halted, staring at the man who had appeared out of thin air. The man was dressed in blue robes. His handsome and aloof face was dark as he coldly looked at the deity dragon who was escaping in panic. What happened? Sir Long Yin, you are finally here. The deity dragon nearly started crying. These humans said they came to the dragon tribe to find someone and sent out a water dragon to threaten me. Oh. The blue-robed man disdainfully peered at the water dragon in front of Yun Luo Feng and derisively chuckled, a spirit of a water dragon managed to scare you to this extent. You can truly only ever be a mountain guardian deity. In truth, the deity dragon's strength was more than enough for him to become an elder. Unfortunately, the dragon didn't have enough guts and always ran away before a battle, so in a fit of anger the king demoted him to a mountain guardian deity. I, Long Yin, never kill nobodies. So introduce yourself this instant. The blue-robed man slightly looked up with a haughty expression and an arrogant tone. The blue long sword in his hand was pointed at Yun Luo Feng in the air, contempt clear in his prideful gaze. Yun Xiao and Nangong Yunyi had arrived beside Yun Luo Feng at some point in time. They stood guard on her left and right, protecting her in the center and preventing her from suffering any harm. Leave it to me, Yun Xiao said in a low voice. Nothing but a little worm, I can take care of him quickly. Chapter 16:13. Dragon Tribe 3. You overestimate yourself. The blue-robed man's face abruptly shifted, and his gaze turned more haughty. A mere human daring to provoke the dignity of the dragon tribe, aren't you seeking death? Nangong Yunyi was very displeased with the man's attitude and harumphed. Yun Luo Feng, Yun Xiao, let me teach him a lesson first. If I don't beat him to the point of crying father and mother, I will kneel down and call him father. Yun Luo Feng. This name drifted to the blue-robed man's ears, causing his eyes to narrow, and killing intent flashed through his eyes. He wanted to find her, but she unexpectedly sent herself into his hands. It looked like the heavens were helping him too. You aren't worthy of saying the name Yun Luo Feng. Nangong Yunyi slightly lifted his chin, evidently unconcerned about the expert of the dragon tribe. The blue-robed man did not grow angry and darkly chuckled. Yun Luo Feng, hand over the fire spirit fruit. Fire spirit fruit. Yun Luo Feng's eyebrows slightly knitted, a cold glint emitting from her eyes. I don't know what you are talking about. You still have the nerve to play dumb at a time like this. The eldest princess of the leopard tribe already told me you possess the fire spirit fruit. Immediately hand it over, and perhaps I will spare you in consideration of your sincerity, the blue-robed man overbearingly ordered as he extended his hand. Yun Luo Feng narrowed her eyes. She did not expect this to be the fault of the eldest princess of the leopard tribe. I don't have the fire spirit fruit. Yun Luo Feng laid her hands out. Believe it or not. I would rather believe spirit beasts than cunning humans. If you don't hand over the fire spirit fruit and make me unable to save my beloved Hong Luan, I will make you meet a tragic end. Hong Luan. This name slammed into Yun Luo Feng's heart, causing it to start trembling. Yun Xiao was about to act, but before he could, Yun Luo Feng swiftly grabbed his hand, making his aura retract in an instant. She deeply inhaled, suppressing the emotions boiling inside of her, and coldly looked at the blue-robed man. If you tell me the cause and effects, perhaps I can save the person. She said she was going to save the person, not hand over the fire spirit fruit, but to Long Yin, Yun Luo Feng was clearly unable to withstand his threat and planned to hand over the fire spirit fruit. Since you will soon be a group of dead people anyways, it won't matter if I tell you. The blue-robed man snorted. Hong Luan is my beloved woman. Unfortunately, if we copulate, the child she would bear would certainly be only half beast, and their blood will be impure, affecting the child's talent. He continued with a smile, so, after hearing that the frost fruit could resolve this problem, I fed it to her. Who knew that the sequelae of the frost fruit would be extremely strong? She requires the fire spirit fruit to be saved. Yun Luo Feng tightly clenched her fists, the fury in her heart nearly rushing out. With Hong Luan's personality, how could she remain in the dragon tribe to have children and engage in a romance when Yun Luo Feng's fate was unknown? Every detail pointed to the fact that Hong Luan must have been forced. And to satisfy his selfishness, this dragon forced Hong Luan to consume the frost fruit. She absolutely would not spare him. No wonder everyone couldn't find Hong Luan. It turns out she was snatched away by the dragon tribe. Yun Luo Feng smiled, an eerie smile that was accompanied by a murderous aura erupting from her pitch-black eyes. She was domineering and bewitching. Anyone who hurts her must be punished. Chapter 16-14, Dragon King 1. Long Yin was startled before recovering after a moment. A cold smile turned up on his lips. You know Hong Luan? A chilly killing intent emanated from his smile, and his aura spilled out of him, turning into a cyclone that spiraled in the air. No matter what, he would not allow anyone to take Hong Luan away. Hong Luan was his. She was not allowed to leave him her whole life. Yun Xiao, don't interfere in this matter. Yun Luo Feng slightly looked up, her bewitching eyes silently stared at Long Yin. This dragon, I want to handle him personally. Yun Xiao hesitated for a moment before nodding. All right. He had said that if she wanted to rely on her own capabilities to fight, then he would silently stand behind her and protect her. He had never believed Yun Luo Feng to be a woman who needed to hide behind a man and seek protection. Instead, she would use everything she had to protect the safety of the people around her. HMPH. The blue-robed man snorted, ice permeating his smile. That's right, I locked Hong Luan up, but so what? She's my woman, so she's destined to remain in Dragon Tribe and give birth to children for me. Nangong Yunyi stood behind Yun Luo Feng and coldly watched the man speak provoking words. He clucked his tongue. This guy is truly unafraid of death. Yun Luo Feng is the type of person who becomes stronger the more you anger her. Yet, he still dares to say these things in front of her. Isn't that the same as completely angering her? Boom. As expected, a storm of spirit energy abruptly appeared on top of Luo Feng's head. The dangerous storm engulfed her surroundings. Long Yin was astonished. Low-rank Sage Lord level. This human woman was at low-rank Sage Lord level. No wonder the mountain guardian deity dragon was intimidated by her. Unfortunately. So what if you are at low-rank Sage Lord level? The fighting capabilities of us dragons extend beyond our level. Otherwise, we wouldn't have such a supreme status. Dragons were sturdy and powerful, added with the might of anthropomorphic beasts. Low-rank Sage Lord level humans normally could not defeat advanced rank Sage Lord level dragons. The deity dragon was intimidated simply because he did not obtain an anthropomorphic fruit and could not turn into a human. Luo Feng coldly watched Long Yun with narrowed eyes, a sinister chilliness settling over her wicked face. You forced Hong Luan to consume the frost fruit. Her voice was nefarious. You are asking something you already know. Dragons were prideful. This pride did not allow him to lower his head to a human, so why would he lie? Roar. The water dragon spirit in front of Luo Feng released an angry call. His body transformed into a stream of water, shooting toward the blue-robed man. Long Yin swiftly backed away, his feet leaving a deep mark in the air, and lifted his hands to block the water dragon's attack. Bang! The water dragon slammed onto his arm, and an icy feeling crept from his arm to his heart, causing him to shiver. We are both water dragons, so I can feel the water dragon was very powerful when he was alive. He wouldn't give me this feeling otherwise. Unfortunately, he is already dead. Long Yin sneered and walked toward Luo Feng. Swish. With a wave of his hand, a long sword made of a water pillar appeared in his hands. Chapter 16:15, Dragon King 2. What threat is a deceased dragon to me? Long Yin coldly smiled, evidently unconcerned about the other water dragon. More importantly, this water dragon's spirit was not whole. Luo Feng absorbed the spirit into her body but could not digest it, so he was able to appear in this form to fight for her. How about with him added? Luo Feng slightly narrowed her eyes, a dangerous glint flashing through her eyes. She slowly waved her hand. With a rumble, a countless number of flames shot out of Luo Feng and gathered in front of her, gradually forming an enormous beast. Roar. The ferocious beast stood on his hind legs and released an earth-shattering roar. The mountain range trembled under its might. You can actually control two opposing attributes like water and fire. Long Yin's expression shifted. The water dragon and flame beast could actually maintain a balanced state in Luo Feng's body. However, have you forgotten? I am also a water dragon. How could mere flames be able to subdue me? Ha ha ha. That might not necessarily be true. Luo Feng smiled, a bewitching light engulfed her gaze. At that moment, the flame beast and dragon sped toward the blue-robed man one after the other. In the sky, the dragon's roars shattered the sky, and the blazing beast also swiftly rose up, his ferocious flames instantly assailing the man. Long Yin's blasé expression finally changed after seeing the overwhelming pressure exerted by the blazing beast. His eyes filled with fear and he did not dare to rashly counter their moves. With a point of his finger, a transparent, sky-blue screen appeared in front of him. Boom! Brightly colored flames filled the whole sky, making it resemble the most magnificent and gorgeous sunset. Cough, cough! Long Yin was stumbling and nearly collapsed to the ground. His robes had turned shabby, and the fear in his eyes was replaced by rage. The pride of the dragon tribe doesn't permit provocation. You are destined to never leave Dragon Mountain. Suddenly, a grave and imposing voice came from their front. What happened? Their actions just now had unavoidably attracted other experts of the dragon tribe. Your Majesty. Long Yin turned around, joy filling his eyes when he saw the man in white who arrived behind him in a flash. Reporting to Your Majesty, these reckless humans came to provoke the dignity of the dragon tribe. I beg Your Majesty to order the elders to act and seize them. The Dragon King did not typically personally act. His body was growing weaker by the day and he was relying on the support of the last of his willpower. Of course, only members of the dragon tribe knew this. The man stood with his arms behind his back and looked at Luo Feng and her group with a slight frown. He aloofly asked, "You came to Dragon Tribe to provoke the dignity of the Dragon Tribe." "We came here to find someone." Young Luo Feng glanced at the man in white. "The Dragon Tribe took my friend away, so I came to take her back. If the Dragon Tribe doesn't release her, I will have to forcefully charge in." The Dragon King's eyebrows knitted tighter together, and he turned to Long Yin. "What's going on?" Long Yin arrogantly raised his head and disdainfully looked at young Luo Feng. "These humans came to steal my wife. Of course I won't permit them to steal my wife. Your Majesty, I beg you to obtain justice for me." Chapter 16:16. Dragon King 3. The man in white pondered for a moment. This woman was able to injure Long Yin, so these people's strength must be exceptional. Their venerable ancestor had not appeared yet, and the Dragon Tribe was unlike the past. They could not attract enemies at a time like this. The Dragon King hesitated for a moment before saying, "Your friend has already become a member of my Dragon Tribe. I request you to return, and I will overlook your harming of the residents of the Dragon Tribe. How about it?" "Your Majesty." Long Yin's heart jolted. "You can't allow these people to leave. This woman possesses the fire spirit fruit inside her body. Only the fire spirit fruit can save Hong Luan." "That's right. Hong Luan could only live if young Luo Feng died." Long Yin turned to young Luo Feng. "You said Hong Luan is your friend. Then you must be willing to sacrifice for your friend. If you stand on the sidelines without lending a hand, what right do you have to steal Hong Luan from my hands?" Yun Xiao icily glanced at Long Yin and waved his hand. A wave of power hit Long Yin in the chest with a bang, causing him to fly back. Before the elders of the Dragon Tribe could react, Long Yin had already collapsed. Their face dramatically changed and they furiously looked at Yun Xiao. "Human, you truly have the nerve. You dare to be so impudent even in front of us. Your Majesty, if we don't kill these people, where would the pride of our Dragon Tribe stand in the world?" The Dragon King did not speak. He stared intently at Yun Xiao's sleeve. Was he mistaken about what he saw? When Yun Xiao attacked Long Yin, he clearly saw a little bug hidden inside this man's sleeve. And why did that little bug look so similar to their venerable ancestor? "Can you show me the thing in your sleeve?" The Dragon King did not respond to the begging of the Dragon Tribe elder and avidly looked at Yun Xiao. The elders of the Dragon Tribe were startled, uncomprehending of His Majesty's interest in a human sleeve. Could it be that this human man hid some treasure in his sleeve? Inside the sleeve, the little bug curled its body and inwardly cursed Yun Xiao. "Why didn't you use your other hand when you attacked Long Yin? Then you wouldn't expose me." The little bug was very resentful. Although he was the ancestor of the Dragon Tribe, he did not want to see these people at all and had no desire to return to this so-and-so Dragon Tribe. Young Luo Feng glanced at the Dragon King and connected it to something little bug previously said. An answer faintly formed. However, ever since little bug heard she wanted to enter Dragon Tribe, he had hidden inside Yun Xiao's sleeve, illustrating the little guy's unwillingness to return to Dragon Tribe. Young Luo Feng held down Yun Xiao's hand and looked up at the Dragon King with a brazen expression. "The Dragon Tribe not only kidnapped my friend but also lacks sincerity. Why should I do as you wish?" "Your Majesty." Long Yin clutched his injured chest and climbed up from the ground, glaring at young Luo Feng. "These humans are too insolent. Since it's like this, we should just steal the treasure." His Majesty's temper had always been bad. Anyone who offended him would often meet a tragic end. Hence, young Luo Feng just had to offend His Majesty of all the things she could have done. His Majesty certainly would not allow these humans to leave. Seeing young Luo Feng's attitude, the Dragon King was more certain that the object hidden in Yun Xiao's sleeve was the venerable ancestor they had been looking for. Suddenly, he kneeled on one knee and loudly said in a reverent tone, "I, the King of the Dragon Tribe, hereby respectfully request venerable ancestor to appear." Chapter 16:17. Hong Luan 1. Every dragon was astonished and dazedly turned to their king. Had His Majesty lost his mind? How could venerable ancestor be at a place like this? Under everyone's doubting eyes, a little bug that resembled green crystal sluggishly crawled out of Yun Xiao's sleeve. His movements were very slow wiggles, as though he was unwilling but had no other alternative. Joy entered the Dragon King's heart. He did not expect to have guessed correctly. The little figure he suddenly saw was their venerable ancestor. However, the members of the Dragon Tribe appeared to have been struck by lightning and were instantly petrified when the little bug appeared. Venerable ancestor was truly here. Were they dreaming? In contrast, Long Yin was extremely displeased. He tightly clenched his fists, and he was trembling. Why, was venerable ancestor on this man? Venerable ancestor, you are finally willing to appear. The Dragon King was joyous. We have spent so many years looking for you. The little bug released a snort. His expression was especially haughty and arrogant. This ancestor originally did not want to return to the dragon tribe. If you didn't all kneel and beg, this ancestor absolutely wouldn't appear. In truth, he had no choice but to appear since he was discovered. This was all the fault of that abominable dragon, Long Yin. Venerable ancestor, your willingness to appear is already a blessing for our dragon tribe. As the king of the dragon tribe, I beg venerable ancestor to come back with us. The little bug's face froze. His originally light green transparent body instantly flushed red. It was unknown whether he was ashamed or. The little bug coughed. You know the past events. This ancestor originally intended to lead that god-level expert away, but who knew that expert would be so stupid as to be unable to find this ancestor's trace and even destroyed the dragon tribe. Although there were no fatalities, their foundation of a millennium was destroyed and countless treasures were stolen by that expert. Even the previous Dragon King was forced to become the mount of that god-level expert. This had been the humiliation of the dragon tribe over these many years. It was also why Little Bug did not dare to return to the dragon tribe. He was probably the only king of the beast province who would flee in the face of a fight. Ancestor, this wasn't your fault. The Dragon King was emotional. You did what you did in consideration of the dragon tribe. Who knew that god-level expert would so idiotic? You clearly schemed to lead him away, but he did not take the bait. Little Bug was dumbfounded, his eyes were blank. Was the Dragon King of the dragon tribe stupid? Did he not see his obvious mistakes from back then? Ancestor, you are the pride of our dragon tribe and also the most heroic figure in our dragon tribe's history. Every tribesman of the dragon tribe is proud of you. Little Bug was completely stupefied. He suddenly thought that it was good for the members of the dragon tribe to be more foolish. The initial embarrassment in Little Bug's eyes receded. He cleared his throat and earnestly said, "That's right, this ancestor is heroic like that. Although my plan was slightly faulty, this ancestor did everything with the dragon tribe in mind. This ancestor is proud that you all remembered me for so long." The corner of young Luo Feng's lips twitched. She was well aware of Little Bug's cowardice. He had escaped from the dragon tribe in order to not end up in the hands of that god-level expert. Chapter 16:18, Hong Luan 2. Yet, in his mouth, his cowardly behavior became a heroic deed. The members of the dragon tribe were truly gullible. No wonder Long Yin would trust the eldest princess of the leopard tribe. Little Bug's face was full of satisfaction. That's right, he wasn't a scum who fled in the face of battle, he was the hero of the dragon tribe. We respectfully welcome venerable ancestors' return to the tribe. The Dragon King faintly smiled. Since their venerable ancestor had returned, the dragon tribe's position would immediately be able to surpass the Phoenix tribe and become the #1 tribe of Beast Province. Hold on, Little Bug suddenly called out, halting the Dragon King, and turned his eyes toward the ashen Long Yin. What were you saying earlier? You wanted to forcefully marry my mistress's friend. You even planned to kill my mistress to extract some fire spirit fruit. Cold sweat rained down Long Yin's face. He opened his mouth but was unable to say anything in defense of himself. Wait, mistress. Venerable ancestor called this human woman mistress. The Dragon King opened his mouth in shock. Venerable ancestor, these two humans aren't your slaves. He had thought that these two humans were nothing more than venerable ancestor's slaves. But, according to venerable ancestor's wording, this cold man in black was actually his master. What good had he done to be able to tame venerable ancestor? Idiot, Little Bug rolled his eyes. If he wasn't my master, why would I appear by his side? The Dragon King was rendered speechless. What he said seemed reasonable. He had no refutation. Little Bug snorted. He did not look at the Dragon King anymore and set his sight on the trembling Long Yin instead. I have stayed with mistress for a long time, so why haven't I ever seen this fire spiritual fruit? The eldest princess of the leopard clan told me this, there's no way. Suddenly, Long Yin came to a realization. His eyes shot open, rage invading it. Could it be that the damn woman deceived him? I want to see Hong Luan. Young Luo Feng's wicked voice was heard, lowering the temperature of the surroundings by several degrees. The dragon man glared at Long Yin. Why haven't you gone to bring this Mrs. Friend over already? Long Yin was displeased, his tightly clenched fists slightly trembling. However, there was nothing he could do. Yes, Your Majesty. No matter what, Long Yin never would have expected Hong Luan to have connections to venerable ancestor. If he knew, perhaps he would not have impulsively done something irreparable. However, Your Majesty, due to her condition, Hong Luan is unable to leave the ice bed. Hence, I can only invite them to go and see Hong Luan. She is unable to come. The Dragon King's face turned more displeased. He did not expect things to progress like this. With this in mind, he cautiously glanced at Little Bug, afraid Long Yin's behavior would provoke venerable ancestor. What are you still waiting for then? Hurry and lead the way. Inside an icy and snowy cave, a girl in red peacefully laid on the ice bed, her eyes gently shut. Her skin was white as snow, and a chilly air emanated from it. Suddenly, footsteps came from outside the door, causing her to open her eyes. A cold glint flashed through her eyes. Why are you here again? I already said I would rather die than become your wife. If you force me, I don't mind taking you down with me. She was greeted with a chuckle, and an extremely familiar voice drifted to her ears. Chapter 16-19, Hong Luan 3. Hong Luan, I had trouble finding you, yet you want to take me down with you. Hong Luan froze. She tightly grasped the corner of her clothes. Disbelief flashed through her deathly pale face, anxiety surfacing in her eyes. It was her. No, she was already dead, so how could she be here? She must be hallucinating. What? We haven't seen each other for 3 years, but you aren't willing to even take a look at me. The familiarly wicked voice near her ear caused Hong Luan to be unable to hold back her excitement. She slightly turned her head. A girl in white stood silently at the entrance of the snowy mountain cave, sunlight shining on the unrivaled beautiful face. Her clothes were whiter than the snow that covered the ground, and her beauty had the ability to cause people to forget to breathe. Young Luo Feng, this name was too distant, so distant that it caused Hong Luan's eyes to redden. It's really you. Hong Luan, I came to take you away. Young Luo Feng slowly entered. Her steps were light, but she reached Hong Luan's bed with a few steps. Her fair and slender fingers gently grasped Hong Luan's arm. Instantly, a stream of spirit energy flowed from young Luo Feng's palm and gathered inside Hong Luan's body. A while later, she released Hong Luan's hand and asked, How do you feel? A lot better. I'm not as cold. Although Hong Luan's condition was the consequence of the frost fruit, she had to remain on the ice bed if she wanted to stay alive. Her originally already icy body was cold beyond reason after being chilled by the ice bed. However, at this moment, she could feel an oddly warm current circulating in her body. I temporarily suppressed the cold air in your body. I will treat you later. But it's time to settle our accounts with people. Young Luo Feng placed her arm in front of Hong Luan, and Hong Luan used her arm as support to stand up. Her alluring and determined eyes silently stared at the girl standing in front of her. A moment later, she smiled. Young Luo Feng, it's truly good that you are still alive. Yes, it was truly good that she was still alive. Hong Luan's tears could not be held back any longer, flooded out. It was her first time crying without abandon in front of someone else in her 20+ years. She did not cry when she experienced betrayal. She did not cry when she was forced to be married to someone. She also did not cry when young Luo Feng died. It was only after seeing young Luo Feng that she could not bear it anymore and unleashed her emotions from the past 3 years. Young Luo Feng went up and gently embraced Hong Luan's shoulders, killing intent flickering through her downcast eyes. Hong Luan, you have suffered these past 3 years. I won't allow anyone who hurt you to get away with it. Hong Luan smiled. Her smile was akin to a flower on her tearful face. Besides Long Yin, another scoundrel also hurt me. Who? I don't know him, but I discovered a holy spring and bathing in this holy spring could allow my strength to rise. Hong Luan's gaze was brimming with rage, murder sparkling in her eyes. Who would have thought that a scoundrel would accidentally stumble inside? Young Luo Feng was startled. For some reason, she felt like Hong Luan's words were very familiar, as though she heard it from somewhere else. It was enough that he saw my whole body, but this scoundrel just had to have a nosebleed. Hong Luan tightly clenched her fists. The only weak point of the holy spring was that it could not be tainted by blood. His blood contaminated the holy spring, causing the spring water to lose its effects. Chapter 1620. Hong Luan 4. Young Luo Feng, I had already stayed inside that holy spring for 3 whole months. I endured the torment of 3 months of soaking. I needed only 1 more day to break through. Hong Luan's tears started falling again. This time, it wasn't caused by sadness, it was heartache. Her heart ached for herself. Tell me, shouldn't I kill this scoundrel? Young Luo Feng nodded in agreement. Should kill. So, if the heavens pity me and let me encounter that scoundrel again, I will shred him into pieces, flay him, and tear out his tendons. If you put yourself in Hong Luan's place, and for example, you gained 3 months of hard-earned money after trials and tribulations. You suffered through torment and pain during these 3 months and only needed 1 more day to acquire this sum. This sum of money was also life-saving money. After all, to Hong Luan back then, every time that she raised her strength was particularly important to her. However, the person who was going to pay you suddenly ran away. Wouldn't you want to kill that person due to rage? You probably would have the desire to rape his ancestors too. Young Luo Feng, at that time, I don't need you to avenge me. Just help me tie that punk up. I want to personally kill him. No, killing him isn't enough. I will whip his corpse 100 times. That punk is too good at escaping though, he slips through my fingers every time. Hong Luan's teeth made cracking noises from how hard she ground them. She had never loathed someone as much as him. Young Luo Feng touched her nose. She kept feeling like the person who Hong Luan spoke of was Nangong Yunyi. Let's go. Other people are waiting for us still. Young Luo Feng smiled and supported Hong Luan to leave the cave. Inside the palace of the dragon tribe, Long Yin was kneeling on the ground, shuddering. His face was pale, and he was biting his lips with fear overflowing from his eyes. Little Bug's chubby little figure was loftily standing on the stage and looking down on the dragons kneeling before him with disdain in his eyes. This ancestor was not gone for very long. Yet, the dragon tribe has fallen so low and would even do something like kidnapping women. A dragon below quietly muttered, "Isn't this normal in Beast Province? Why can't our dragon tribe do this?" Shut up. Little Bug was very angry. This ancestor is so stately, how can I possess a group of vulgar descendants like you? Whoever dares to commit a blunder like this in the future won't be pardoned. As he announced this, footsteps were heard. When they turned around, they discovered Yun Luofeng helping Hong Luan walk toward them. Yun Xiao walked to Yun Luofeng's side and silently stood there. A rare tenderness that only appeared whenever he looked at her surfaced in his cold eyes. Ah! Hong Luan's eyes shot open and pushed Yun Luofeng's hand away. She swiftly darted forward. Nangong Yunyi was stunned out of his wits. He did not expect that the person he wanted to find would be Yun Luofeng's friend. This woman was especially aggressive, as though she would not give up until she killed him. Seeing Hong Luan within reach, Nangong Yunyi rapidly fled toward Yun Luofeng. Yun Luofeng, hurry and help me stop this crazy woman. Hong Luan's face was livid as she clenched her teeth. Punk, I will definitely make you pay for destroying my holy spring. Prepare to die. In truth, Hong Luan did not actually want to kill Nangong Yunyi. Her words to Yun Luofeng were mere words of anger. However, if she did not mercilessly punish this punk, her rage could not be pacified. Bang! Chapter 1621. Hong Luan 5. Hong Luan kicked Nangong Yunyi's butt, instantly sending him flying. He rolled a few times before stopping in front of Yun Luofeng. He dusted off his pants and shot behind Yun Luofeng to hide. She's the crazy woman I told you about. Yun Luofeng raised her eyebrows. I know, you peeped on her while she was bathing and she hunted you down for a while. Then, after she stopped hunting you down, you masochistically went out looking for traces of her, right? Nangong Yunyi blushed, and a look at the glowering Hong Luan caused him to shiver. Yun Luofeng, ignore that for now, help me stop this crazy woman. Yun Luofeng shrugged. Sorry, I just promised Hong Luan that if we found that scoundrel who peeped on her bathing, I would help her kill him. Nangong Yunyi immediately turned ashen and resentfully looked at Yun Luo Feng, his expression remarkably similar to a complaining wife's. Yun Luo Feng, you are so cruel. She is your friend, but we also have a deep friendship. Yet, you help her but not me. Yun Xiao's eyebrows knitted, clearly unhappy about Nangong Yunyi using deep friendship. Yun Luo Feng, move over. I am going to make this scoundrel pay. Hong Luan was trembling from her anger, and she was about to shed tears again. As soon as she remembered how her 3 months of hard work was flushed down the drain, she would wish nothing more than shred him into pieces. Didn't I merely get a peek of your body? Must you chase after me for this long? Nangong Yunyi pursed his mouth. At worst, I will take responsibility for you. Hong Luan snorted. How will you take responsibility? The holy spring was incredibly valuable, so how could it be a responsibility that he could handle? Yun Luofeng glanced at the two of them and realized that the content of their conversation was not on the same wavelength. I will take responsibility by marrying you, of course, Nangong Yunyi candidly declared. Hearing this, Hong Luan grew even angrier, and fury spat out of her eyes. Dream on. Marry her. Why would she marry someone who ruined her holy spring? No can do. Fury boiled in Long Yin's heart when he heard Nangong Yunyi's words. This punk was clearly a toad who pined after a swan. He dared to covet Hong Luan. If he did not use the wrong approach, Hong Luan would be his woman already. Your Majesty, a guard of the dragon tribe came to report. Long Yin's guard, Long Yun has returned and claims that he must see Long Yin. What does your Majesty think? The Dragon King glanced at Long Yin and indifferently ordered, let him enter. Yes, your Majesty. The roar of a dragon subsequently pierced the sky and traveled to the hall of the palace. A moment later, a man in a long, green robe slowly descended and reverently kneeled in front of the Dragon King. Your Majesty, this subordinate requests to see Sir Long Yin. Logically, as the subordinate of Long Yin, he would not come to the palace to request to see Long Yin because there were too many ears here and it would certainly provoke trouble. However, he heard that Sir Long Yin had made a mistake and was about to be imprisoned by His Majesty, so he just wanted to see Long Yin and report to him. The dragon tribe was truly stupid. Since Long Yin already committed a wrong, wasn't he making Long Yin's wrongs worse by coming here at this moment? Also, he did not investigate what Long Yin had done wrong before rushing here. The Dragon King peered at Long Yin and asked, what is it? Chapter 1622, Enraged Nangong Yunyi. Long Yin subconsciously glanced at Long Yin, reluctance flickering through his eyes. He did not know if he was allowed to say it in front of His Majesty. Sweat soaked Long Yin's forehead. Your Majesty, about this. However, before he could finish speaking, the Dragon King shot him a cold glance and asked, what, is there something we aren't allowed to know? Long Yin grew limp. Long Yin was evidently the dragon that he sent to go to Leopard Tribe to assassinate Yun Luofeng. Then, he realized that Yun Luofeng was currently inside Dragon Tribe, so his subordinate must have failed. Only then did he relent. Speak. Yes, Sir Long Yin. Long Yin respectfully cupped his fists. This subordinate obeyed your order and went to Leopard Tribe to find the woman called Yun Luofeng to steal the fire spirit fruit inside her body. Who knew that Yun Luofeng had already left the Leopard Tribe? Long Yin glanced at Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao with embarrassment and dryly coughed. Since you failed, then you may leave. Sir Long Yin, although I failed in hunting her down, I was able to discover that Yun Luofeng had connections with the Wind-Chasing Alliance, so this subordinate has already killed everyone from the Wind-Chasing Alliance, haha. The green-robed man guffawed, not seeing Long Yin's drastic shift in expression at all. Nor did he care about the other people present. Instead, he was looking at Long Yin boastfully, seeking compliment. What did you say? Nangong Yunyi flew into a rage, his tightly clenched fists cracking. You killed the members of my Wind-Chasing Alliance. Long Yin was startled and dumbfoundedly looked at the flowering Nangong Yunyi. Sir Long Yin, this. Long Yin inwardly voiced his regrets. This useless failure. He only had him kill Yun Luofeng, he never said anything about destroying Wind-Chasing Alliance. What should he do now? Plop. Suddenly, Long Yin was kneeling on the ground and sobbing, Your Majesty, this has nothing to do with me. This bastard acted on his own. I didn't order him to touch the members of the wind-chasing alliance. Long Yun was stunned. However, Nangong Yunyi's fist had swung onto his face already. Bang! Long Yun staggered back a few steps, and blood flowed down his nose. Who are you? Long Yun asked between gritted teeth. Nangong Yunyi was livid, veins popping out of his forehead. He was similar to a deadly volcano, and his erupted lava could corrode other people's body. Who am I? You dared to harm the people of my alliance, yet you ask me who I am. Nangong Yunyi lifted his leg and mercilessly kicked the green-robed man's chest, sending him flying back. If it was in the past, the green-robed man would certainly stand up and fight back, but he could feel the peculiar atmosphere and did not dare to resist, allowing Nangong Yunyi's fierce attacks to land on him. That's right, Nangong Yunyi was purely venting his hatred. Killing Long Yun would not eliminate the hatred in his heart. If he did not beat this bastard to death, how could he avenge his deceased brothers and sisters? Tears streamed down the corner of Nangong Yunyi's eyes. His attacks turned more and more ferocious, causing Long Yun to spit out blood non-stop. In these 2 years, the brothers and sisters of Wind Chasing Alliance accompanied him through all of his challenges and hardships. However, now that the danger to the alliance has been dissolved, his brothers and sisters were all dead. How could he accept this? Sir Long Yun pleadingly looked at Long Yin, clearly wanting him to tell him what was happening. Long Yin bitterly chuckled. The young Luo Feng who I had you go kill is already here in the dragon tribe. Chapter 1623. Fate 1. What? Long Yun's eyes widened in shock as he looked at Long Yin's deathly pale face, stunned. Seeing everyone staring at him, he unconsciously shivered. HMPH. Little Bug twisted his chubby body and crawled forward from the stage. His gaze was arrogant as he looked down on the kneeling man. The dragon tribe is truly brave. They dare to harm the people around my mistress even. I originally only wanted to discipline you, but it appears this ancestor can't help you this time. In truth, Little Bug did not plan to plead on Long Yin's behalf, to begin with. Who told this bastard to kidnap mistress's friend and wanted to harm mistress? He purposefully said those words in order to illustrate his benevolence. However, his voice caused Long Yun to shudder. Wasn't this Bug the venerable ancestor that His Majesty had them find? What did his words mean though? Mistress. Long Yin frowned. We were tricked by that woman from the leopard tribe this time. If he survived, he absolutely would not spare that despicable woman. She caused him to lose Hong Luan as well. As though struck by lightning, Long Yun froze. Before he could plead for mercy, he heard the Dragon King coldly order, "Guards, take him away. Flay him and pull his tendons." Ha ha. Suddenly, Nangong Yunyi gave a deranged laugh. Flay him and pull his tendons. How could that little pain compare to all the brothers that I lost? Nangong Yunyi was gnashing his teeth from hatred. Unless I slice his meat off piece by piece, the hatred in my heart won't be eliminated. All the brothers who went to hell and back with him had their spirits dissipated because of this evil dragon, so how could he swallow his anger? Young Luo Feng silently looked at Nangong Yunyi before pulling out a porcelain bottle from her space ring and passing it to him. After you slice a piece of him off, sprinkle this powder on the injury and it will recover within a few days. You can torture him for as long as you want until your anger has dissolved. Nangong Yunyi accepted the bottle. Good brother. Only Yun Luofeng understood him the best in this world. Also, only Yun Luofeng would hand him the most useful item when he needed it. Yun Xiao icily swept his eyes over Nangong Yunyi's hand before he deftly held Yun Luofeng's hand in his and gently brushed over the spot where Nangong Yunyi's fingertip had barely touched her palm. Perhaps due to sympathy, Hong Luan did not continue screaming at Nangong Yunyi and gently sighed. In truth, I can understand his feelings. If all of my brothers were wiped out, then I would have the intent to eradicate his ancestor too. Nangong Yunyi was fairly rational still and did not take his anger out on the dragons because of this. This dragon of the dragon tribe injured my people. From now on, you aren't permitted to interfere with his fate, Yun Luofeng coldly stated with a glance at the Dragon King. Seeing that Yun Luofeng had spoken, how could the Dragon King dare to say no? Couldn't you see his ancestor harshly glaring at him right now? Since it was his fault in the first place, then his punishment will be left to Miss Yun. Alright, Yun Luofeng walked to Nangong Yunyi's side and lightly clapped his shoulders. Nangong, you can take revenge however you want, but don't grieve too much. In this world, if the soul was not destroyed when the body died, then there's a chance to meet again. This was not Hua Xia, where if your family in Hua Xia passed away, you would not see them ever again. Here, as long as your soul still existed, then there was a chance to meet again. If fate willed it, then they would naturally meet again. Thank you, Nangong Yunyi hoarsely said. He knew young Luo Feng was comforting him. Even so, it did not eliminate the sorrow in his heart. Young Luo Feng did not say anything else and turned her gaze toward the main culprit, Long Yin. How will you punish this dragon? Chapter 1624, Fate 2. This punk owes me, so give this dragon to me. Hong Luan narrowed her eyes, a cold glint flashing through her eyes. Hong Luan, I did that to save you. Long Yin frantically defended himself as he subconsciously took a few steps back. Hong Luan snorted, to save me, did you forget who caused me to become like this? Long Yin turned silent. It was a while before he found his voice again and weakly protested, I loved you too much. I wanted you to give birth to a dragon son for me, which was why I love me. Must I marry you simply because you love me? Hong Luan raised her chin and imposingly stated, even if I remain unmarried my whole life, I won't marry someone like you. You continually claim that you love me, so you forcibly snatched me and imposed your will on me. And I must obey your desire to birth a child for you. Did you ever ask if I was willing? Hong Yin's face paled further. He despairingly and sorrowfully gazed at her gorgeous face. Hong Luan, I thought you would be happy to birth a child for me. The dragon tribe had always been distinguished and formidable. Many people wanted to but could not be married to him. Hence, in his mind, he believed that Hong Luan was willing but did not express it because she was too shy. Hong Luan must hate him merely because of the frost fruit. If he did not take advantage of her and feed her the frost fruit, perhaps Hong Luan would joyfully become his new bride. Of course, this was all Long Yin's own opinion. Your Majesty, a guard of the dragon tribe hastily ran inside and reverently said, 2 humans came here to provoke the dragon tribe, this subordinate. Who has the guts to come provoke the dragon tribe? The guard was interrupted by the Dragon King before he could finish speaking. The Dragon King immediately slapped the table and furiously stood up without questioning the reason. He flicked his sleeve and wanted to walk forward. Their venerable ancestor had returned to the dragon tribe anyway, so even if the dragon tribe came to attack, he would not need to fear. Your Majesty, they are 2 humans and kidnapped the princess of the leopard tribe with them. They said our dragon tribe harmed their friend. What, humans again, and they also came here to find someone? The Dragon King's fury was instantly extinguished and he fearfully glanced at Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao. Could those 2 humans be related to them? Seeing their Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao both did not declare their position, the Dragon King coughed in embarrassment. Let them enter first. I would like to know if there are any misunderstandings. As for the provocation that the guard mentioned earlier, he completely overlooked it. Yes, Your Majesty, the guard of the dragon tribe retreated. A moment later, a man and a woman entered under the guard's guidance. The seductive man was similar to a fox spirit who had turned into a human, his eyes full of cunning. The other girl was dressed in yellow and held a struggling woman in her hand. When she noticed Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao, she was startled. Miss, why are you here? The Dragon King was stunned. Could he have guessed correctly? These people really knew Yun Luofeng. And they were Yun Luofeng's guard and maidservant. Thank goodness he did not impulsively make an irreparable mistake. Hong Luan. Joy entered Hu Li's heart when he saw Hong Luan. I didn't expect to see you here at the dragon tribe. Could you have been here this whole time? Chapter 1625, Fate 3. Yun Luofeng gave Hu Li an odd look. Didn't you say you came here to find someone? What, isn't it Hong Luan? Hearing this, Huang Yingying frowned, tossed the eldest princess of the leopard clan onto the floor, and icily said, Miss, this woman claimed that a member of the dragon tribe killed Princess Yila, so we came here to confront them. Yila. Instantly, everyone focused on the green-robed man, Long Yun. I had you go to Beast City to deal with Yun Luofeng. Why in the world did you kill the princess of the leopard tribe? Long Yin was furious. This trouble-making failure. It was his fault I ended up like this. Sir Long Yin, Long Yun knelt on the ground with a plop. I really didn't kill the princess of the leopard tribe. What reason would I have to kill her? The words of a man on his deathbed always come from the heart. Long Yun would not lie at a time like this. The eldest princess was drained of colors. The constant movement of the trip had already caused her health to nearly fail, so her voice was quite weak. I didn't say that. They are unjustly accusing me. Sir Long Yin, you must believe me. I'm utterly devoted towards you, so why would I frame the dragon tribe? Young Luo Feng smiled. Her smile was evil, and her pitch-black eyes appeared as if they could see through a person's heart. You didn't want to frame the dragon tribe indeed. Nor did you have the guts to. The eldest princess snorted. She did not understand why Yun Luofeng was here. However, based on her words, she was merely licking the dragon tribe's boots. Unfortunately, the dragon tribe would absolutely trust other beasts and would not carelessly trust a human. However, you could borrow the hands of the dragon tribe to kill Hu Li and Huang Yingying, am I right? Yun Luofeng deviously asked with an upturn of her lips. The eldest princess's complexion turned paler. Yun Luofeng, don't bother falsely accusing me. Who do you think the dragon tribe will trust, you or me? Currently, the eldest princess had not realized the situation and evidently did not know the change that had occurred to the dragon tribe. She only knew that her identity as a spirit beast was her protection. I don't care whether you admit it or deny it. The mere fact that you had the intention to kill someone around me means I won't spare you. Young Luofeng lifted her hand and a force landed on the eldest princess's chest with a bang, causing her to fiercely smack against a wall in an instant. Blood gushed out of her mouth. Young Luofeng, how gusty you are. You dare to harm me and the dragon tribe. The eldest princess clenched her teeth and turned to Long Yin. Sir Long Yin, this woman is stomping on the dignity of the dragon tribe, you should tie her up and shred her into pieces. Long Yun appeared to recall something and suddenly knelt on the ground, tearfully claiming, Sir Long Yin, it was this woman who told me Yun Luofeng was in the wind-chasing alliance. Otherwise, I wouldn't go to destroy the wind-chasing alliance at a time like this. In a split second, several murderous gazes shot to the eldest princess. Nangong Yunyi's fist crackled, and his teeth were tightly clenched. He would not control his power, and it instantly rushed out. However, Long Yin was quicker than him and reached the front of the eldest princess. A fist loaded with water-colored spirit energy ferociously hit the eldest princess. It's all your fault. If you didn't tell me Yun Luofeng's body contained the fire spirit fruit, I wouldn't hunt her down. If you didn't lead my subordinate to the wind-chasing alliance, we wouldn't commit such an irreparable error. You have caused disaster to befall me, I will drag you to hell.